it's Caroline here from Aussie Cards and Crafts. Thank you for joining me today. And today what I would like to do is to show you this particular card here. Now, as you can see, I just saw it on YouTube a couple of days ago and I just had to give it a try. It was so easy and you don't need any tools other than a few basic supplies. So what the card is called a Trifold Miura Ori card. Now, before you freak out at that, the Miura, I had to look it up on Google, and Professor Google tells me that Miura Ori, and I'm not sure whether I've got the pronunciation right there, but Professor Google says that it is an origami fold that folds flat. And as you can see, as it comes open, you can see that you can see inside there. And it really is. It's so simple to do, and you don't need anything. You don't, other than a knife, card, some pattern paper, a pencil, a ruler, and a something to do some fold lines in. So let me show you how to do it. It's very, very, very easy. Now, I have cut mine out already, but I will go through the sizes with you. The first piece, you'll need two base pieces. Okay, so there's two base pieces here. One of them is 12 inches by 6 inches. Okay, so if I get my ruler there, you will see that that is 12 inches by 6 inches. And along that 12-inch side, I want you to put a mark at 4 inches and then 8 inches. Turn it around the other way up, and then put another mark at 4 inches and then 8 inches. Now, the reason I'm doing it manually is because not everybody has the tools that we've all got here. Like, I've got, obviously, die cutting machines. I've got cutting boards. I've got scoring boards. I've got everything. But not everybody does have that when they start out. So what I'd like you to do is I want to show you how to do it from scratch. So what I'd like to do is from that top mark that you've made there to that bottom mark, use your scoring tool and score down. I use a cork mat for mine. It's entirely up to you. I just find I get a better score. And for those other two marks that you made, you do the same thing. Okay, so you've got one piece of card here. This is 250 GSM, by the way. You don't need this one to be very thick. So you've got 12 inches along there and 6 inches down there. So what you're going to do now is you are going to fold one in that way, and then you are going to fold the other one that way. And that will give us our trifold. Okay, I'll come back to that in just a moment. The other piece is going to be 8 inches across there and 6 inches along the side. And that one, what I would like you to do, once again, is to measure from the side 4 inches in, put a mark at the top. That can always be rubbed out afterwards. Turn it around. Oops, there's a blue one there. Turn it around and do the same thing. Okay, so the halfway mark, which is the 4 inches. So you might put a mark just there. And then what you do is you join those marks up. So you put your ruler, and I always find it best to use a metal ruler. I always use metal now, especially when you're using it with knives. Okay, and you do that. I did use my cutting board to cut these out, but it's very simple just to put your marks on the paper and get a piece of card. This will just take one piece of 12 by 12 card, and you will have a part like that left over. So I think I've got mine just here. There you go. So once you've done that second card, you just fold that over, burnish with your tool. Okay, and we're going to put that one aside. Now what we need to do is we need to start working on this one. And once again, it's very, very, very simple. I can't believe how simple this card is. So what we need to do is we need to measure up 2 inches on this 4-inch line. Okay, so on that score line that you've just done, measure up 2 inches and put a tiny little dot. Turn it over and around the other way and from the opposite side on that score line there, you measure up another 2 inches and put a tiny little dot. What you do then is you take your tool, and then you go from there right down to the corner. Now don't forget, when you're going down to the corner, you've got to allow some space for your actual your tool there. So don't put it right to the corner. Okay, and there you've got one of your diagonals. The other one, you go from that mark down to this score line here. So you've got your mark there at 2 inches, and then you go down to this one here. And you use your burnishing tool to come straight down. Okay. Turn your card around, so you've now got that there. You go from this one here down to this score line along here. And you guessed it, we go from this mark here down to this corner here. So there we go. So I'll just pop that to the side. I will need that again in a moment. So what we now need to do, and as you can see, the top part of our card folds in. So what we now need to do is we now need to make, this is already a valley fold, this part down here. We now need to coax this, and I say coax it, so you're going to be very careful how you do it. You just gently fold it down there and gently fold it along there, and you will see that it will come in like so. Okay, and you'll have a lovely fold there. Use your burnishing tool again. It's really, really important that these folds are very, very well burnished. If they're not well burnished, they will be a springy card. And when you're burnishing, don't forget to burnish this one in here as well. Okay, it's a little bit more difficult to get to. Excuse my head. You probably saw all of my hair there, but you need to do that. So that's the first one. So we have, actually that's the bottom one, I think you'll find. Let me just get this right. I've done it the wrong way. What a silly girl. That's all right. All you need to do is put it the other way, and it goes in quite well. Now the bottom one, what you need to do, this needs to be folded up. So that one is now a mountain fold, okay, with that one being a valley fold. This one here is going to be the opposite. So once again, just gently fold them first so that you're getting it on the right line, and you will find that it will automatically go straight in. Okay, and once again, burnish those folds. And there's the bases of your card. There we go. So there's the bases of your card, but as you can see, that's not going to stand up. This is where the next piece comes in. So what we need to do now is we need to put this behind. That will give us that part at the bottom, but we also need to cut a piece off of here. Now, you'll remember that we came down 2 inches here. What I'd like you to do is when you get your ruler out this time, I'd like you to come down 2 1/8 of an inch. Okay, because it's folding, we need to give it enough space to actually fold. So, 2 1/8 of an inch, just there. And I take it, when I cut this, I cut it right over to this side. So this side of the fold line. Okay, because this is actually going to be attached to the back. So you just need to make sure that there is enough room that when this is folded, it's going to line up beautifully. So so here we go. There's my mark, and that was at 2 1/8 2 1/8, and I'm going to go about 1/8 of an inch over that fold line. And I'm going to use my knife. Normally I would use a cutting board for this, but I just want to show it can be done. Okay, so you see that you have taken off a little bit of that part that folds over. It's going to be underneath. It really and truly doesn't matter. So now what will happen is that is going to go behind, okay, like so. And then this part will be glued under there. And then when it all folds up, it will fold up like that. And you can see your card will stand up. So I'm going to quickly go ahead and glue those. Oh, before I do, sorry, the next part of what we've got to do is we've got to start decorating. Now, for this part in here, we don't necessarily need to have the full length of the paper that you need. So all you need here are 2 pieces of 3 3/4 by 3 inches, and you pop them down here. Now I've chosen this particular one, which is this one here, which is the Kaisercraft Whimsy Wishes collection. And for my sentiment, I'm actually going to use, you know, when quite often on the big 12 by 12 papers, they've got the brand on the back, and then they're all is merry and bright this Christmas. Well, for my sentiment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use merry and bright, and then on the next line, I'm going to use this Christmas, and I'm going to mount it on some silver. Okay, so you can use anything. You don't necessarily have to have a lot of expense. This one has been, this could have been, the top one here is actually from a Made Surprise by Sam Cowcott. That's her pad that she did last year, her Christmas pad. I've cut some of that up before, so I've actually used the scraps for that, and I needed 2 pieces of that, and then I had another piece of this, but I'll go into that a little bit later than the sizes. So what we need to do is we need to glue these down here before we attach this to our base. Okay, now I do use glue. I just personally, I find that it works better for me because it gives me a little bit of wiggle room. So okay, so a little bit of glue. There we go. So that then goes on there. The next thing we do is we need to attach this piece onto there. Okay, and obviously they're both 6 by 6, so they're going to be the right size. So to do that, you put your glue on this piece first. And you match your edges top right there, and make sure your edge along the top is correct, and make sure that it is sitting correctly. This is why I like to use glue, because you've just got that little bit of wiggle room to make sure that everything is lined up and in the right place. Okay, this is actually fairly quick drying glue, but that's okay. That's fine. Next, what you've got to do is you will see that now will fold beautifully under there. There is a gap there, but it doesn't matter because this is going to come down on top of it. So, where are we? So what we need to do now is to put some glue just in this part here. If you wanted to, you could just put a very small pencil line down there, just to remind yourself you don't want to glue on top of that line. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and glue this bit down. So get your tool out and make sure that that is burnished really, really well. Once again, burnish that one really well. And there you have it. There's your card so far. So you've already got that. You can see how by putting that on first, that is just makes life so much easier. The next thing we need to do is we need to cut out some pieces that let me have a little look at my cheat sheet here. We need 3 pieces that are 3 1/4 inches. Okay, 3 1/4 inches there and 5 3/4 inches there. So that will give us a a lovely border. If we had the full piece sitting up there, that would give us a lovely border. So what we need to do, and the easiest way of doing this, you'll see that I've got a light blue one there, which has got the trees on it. I'm going to pop this one in the center part, just in there, and I'm going to put this one at the end. Okay, so the best way that I know of doing this is to fold your card up, position your piece on the front to where you want it to be, and you're looking for about 1/8 of an inch border. From there, what you need to do is you need to make a little mark at the top there and a little mark just here, making sure that there's, if I get my pointer out, there is the fold of the base card. So we're bringing it 1/8 of an inch down, and we're doing the same here, about 1/8 of an inch. So you've got a pencil mark there and a pencil mark there. What you do next is you get your knife and your ruler, or if you wanted to, you could do this on your cutter. Entirely up to you. I'm just trying to show people who maybe not have the equipment that we've all got, or that many of us have got anyway, not everybody. So we then cut that off. Now, keep that piece, you will need that. So that piece is now going to fit beautifully in that spot there. This piece here is now going to sit in there, but we do need to take some more off. So what we need to do is, once again, position this. So bring it up from that diagonal score line and position it where you need it with your lovely borders there. From there, you just make sure you come down that 1/8 of an inch. So you're taking about 1/4 of an inch off for this. Okay, and you can measure it if you want to. I'll just check that, but I think it would be about 1/4 of an inch. Absolutely spot on, 1/4 of an inch. So you now use your knife once again, and you join those marks up. Okay, so, and now that will sit in. Whoopsies. That will then sit in the top part there beautifully. Okay, with a lovely border around it. So I'll pop that over there. The next piece that we're going to worry about is going to be the second piece, which I'm going to put on here. So that's basically going to be the opposite. So we're going to do it the same way. Because this is a directional paper, I'm going to have to do it exactly the same way that I did the other. So I'm going to have to lay it down. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to pop that one up the top. The final piece, we do exactly the same way. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to layer it on here so that we have got it in the right position. Now, as you can see, your score line is there. So what we now need to do is we need to make a little mark just here and a little mark just there. We also need to make, because this has got a double one, this has got a double fold on it, so we need to make another little mark there and another one there. And we join those up in that direction. Now it's just a case of gluing them all on, which I will speed the camera up for, because I'm sure you don't need to see me gluing things onto a card. But I'm going to have the dark one there, I'm going to have the lighter one here, and the other snow scene just here. Okay. There we go. So there is our card. What we've got to do now is just put some embellishments on. I'm going to, as I said, and I'll show you how I use this. And the reason I'm doing it this way is because I just want you to realise that you don't have to spend an awful lot of money on doing this. So I'll pop that up there for the moment. I'm just going to just neaten this up. Looks like my cutting board when I cut this is not very sharp, so my blade is a lot sharper. So I'm going to just neaten that up, take all the daggy ends off. And that's a very Australian term if you're listening from overseas. Now I don't want all ears, I just want merry and bright. Okay, so I'm just going to put a very light pencil line down there. That didn't work. Okay, so just light pencil line, and then I want merry and bright. This Christmas can go on the next line. What I'm going to do now is, the way I quite often do this is just a scrap from one of my scraps. So I'm just going to position that on there. I'm going to use some tape, some mounting tape to put that on. If I can find some. Yes, I can. Then what we need to do is we need to, what I will do is I'll cut this in two. You'd be so surprised how even the tiniest piece of card comes in handy. So now what I need to do is I need to straighten this all up. So there's our card, and from the scraps that most people throw away, we're going to put merry and bright this Christmas. And you could put some, what I actually might do is I might put some glue on there and get some glitter to make that, stand that out a bit, and I could do the same on that. In fact, I might do that, so just bear with me. I was going to use one of my fancy tools, but then I realised, no, this is not the way, that's not what I want to try and achieve here today. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop a little bit of glitter on these trees here. Just dabbing it on. It's a very pretty paper, but it's a very subtle paper. It's just gorgeous. I love the stuff that Sam does. She's from Made to Surprise over in England, and she is an amazing crafter. As is the lady that I did this from, which is Iced Images. There's a lot of other people that have done this particular card, but Iced Images is the one that I actually followed her tutorial. So it really is, she's very good. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour that over. And if you always put it on paper, okay, and you pop it back in again. I will do the inside, but I'll do that afterwards. And then I'm going to attach my sentiments here. And then we've got our glitter on our trees. I might not put it in that one because it might not fold very well. You can write on the back of your card here. Alternatively, you can put something in here. But if you do put something in there, like something round or whatever to put in there. Make sure it doesn't come up over this fold here. But there is your card. I think it's really pretty. I like the fact that you don't need anything special other than your card base and a little bit of paper. And you could also cover those if you wanted to, but you don't see them, so I don't worry about it. But yeah, there we go. That is the Trifold Miura. I really struggle with this name. Miura Ori card. The Trifold Miura Ori card. I love it. I think it's a very effective card. Once all of this is dry, I will actually make sure that this is sitting flat. With this one, I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put a sentiment on the front. I don't always use my my prototype card, but I'm also going to use some glossy accents for the middle of the flowers here, because I think that will really lift it. I won't worry about glitter, but I think that will really lift it. And then I'll put a Merry Christmas on there as well. So yeah, there it is. I'm really pleased with it. As I say, I saw it on YouTube from Iced Images last night. She's a great crafter, so if you get an opportunity, go onto YouTube and have a look at her. If you're not a member of the Aussie Cards and Crafts Facebook site, please head on over, and we'd love to accept you. Just put a request in. There are some very talented people there. There's a lot of people there that are really happy to help and to advise as well. So it does cater, and it is aimed at all levels of crafters. We've got some extremely good ones, but we've also got people that just like to watch. They don't necessarily post. And the idea of this one is the fact that you don't need any fancy equipment. All you needed was a cutting mat, scissors, a knife, a burnishing tool, a pencil, and a ruler, plus your card. So there we go. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up down the bottom, and maybe subscribe to my channel. That really does help, so thank you. But for now, this is Caroline, and I'm saying, well, it's evening here in Australia, so I'm saying good evening, and I'll catch you again soon. Thank you.